has emerged from these consultations that we should embark on a strategic, controlled, progressive, safe easing of restrictions to get our lives and economy back to normal. As I stated in my May Day address a month ago, I'm now in a position to outline the roadmap for easing safely the restrictions. Ours is going to be a phased approach involving a selected list of public gatherings based on their risk profile, socioeconomic impact, and most importantly, our capacity to enforce and to respond in the event of a flare-up in our number of infections. So, fellow Ghanaians, with effect from Friday, 5th June, we will begin stage 1 of the process of easing restrictions. An abridged format for religious services can commence. 25% attendance with a maximum number of 100 congregants can worship at a time in church or at the mosque, with a mandatory 1-meter rule of social distancing between congregants. In addition to the mandatory wearing of masks for all persons at all times in churches and mosques, a register of names and contact details of all worshippers and hand-washing facilities and sanitizers must be provided, with a maximum duration of 1 hour for each service. Religious institutions that are desirous of opening their premises to their members, such as churches, mosques, and others, must disinfect, fumigate, and put in place the requisite logistics needed to guarantee safe opening and operationing. They must work with the designated regulatory bodies and undertake test runs of the protocols I have outlined. I would appeal to them, in the case of Christians, on the first Sunday of reopening, i.e. 7th June, in the case of the Adventists, Saturday, 6th June, and in the case of Muslims, on the first Friday, i.e. Salat al-Jum'ah, on 5th June, to dedicate their worship to prayers for the nation in these challenging times. The Minister for Religious Affairs will tomorrow, Monday, 1st June, outline in detail the specific guidelines for the safe reopening of our churches and mosques. From Monday, 15th June, the decision has been taken after engagement with the teacher unions, whose cooperation I salute, to reopen schools and universities to allow for final year, junior high, senior high, and university students to resume classes ahead of the conduct of their respective exit examinations. Indeed, final year university students are to report to their universities on 15th June. Final year senior high school SHS3 students, together with SHS2 Go Track students, on 22nd June. And final year junior high school JHS3 students on 29th June. JHS3 classes will comprise a maximum of 30 students. SHS classes a maximum of 25 students, and university lectures will take place with half the class sizes. All final year students of educational and training institutions, which are being managed by ministries other than the Education Ministry, are to return to school on 15th June to complete their exit examinations. Again, prior to the opening of schools and universities, the Ministry of Education and the heads of public and private educational institutions will fumigate and disinfect their institutions. Each student, teacher, and non-teaching staff will be provided with reusable face masks by the Ministry of Education. With the avoidance of doubt, All other educational facilities, private and public, for non-final year students will remain closed. The Minister for Education in the coming days will outline in detail the specific guidelines for the safe reopening of our schools and universities. Private burials, now with a maximum of 100 persons, can continue to be performed. Restaurants providing seated services can operate under appropriate social distancing arrangements and hygiene protocols. Individual, non-contact sports can go ahead. Conferences, workshops, weddings, and political activities, except rallies, can now take place, but with limited numbers, not exceeding 100 persons present, with the appropriate social distancing and hygiene protocols. Marketplaces, workplaces, public transport, and constitutional and statutory bodies such as the Electoral Commission, the National Commission for Civic Education, and the National Identification Authority, whose activities were exempted from the outset from these restrictions, must conduct their activities in accordance with social distancing and the necessary hygiene and safety protocols. Whilst we step up public education of the protocols and public gatherings, let me also state that regulatory agencies will undertake random checks to ensure conformity with these rules, and the security services will be tasked to enforce them. Should any institution fail to adhere to these directives, its activities will be immediately prohibited and relevant sanctions applied. I have my executive instrument provided for these new directions and extended the suspension of the remaining public gatherings as set out in EI 64 15th March until 31st July. In here, I refer to the suspension of sporting events, nightclubs, cinemas, drinking spots, bars, beaches, festivals, funerals, political rallies, and large religious gatherings such as crusades, pilgrimages, and conventions. Our border by air, land, and sea remains closed until further notice for human traffic. However, given that there are Ghana residents stranded abroad, special dispensation is going to be given for their evacuation back to Ghana, where they will be subjected to the mandatory quarantine and safety protocols. Fellow Ghanaians, it is said that with greater freedom comes greater responsibility. The introduction of this phased opening up of our country means that each and every one of us must continue to remain vigilant and respect the enhanced hygiene and social distance protocols that have become part and parcel of our daily routine over the last 3 months. We cannot afford to let our guard down and ruin the successes we have chalked over this period. Yes, there exists a possibility of a potential surge in infections. As a precautionary measure, we've strengthened further our existing national, regional, and district response teams with the support of the security forces to step up to deal with any eventuality. Over recent weeks, we have learned from the cases at the fish processing plant in Tema and in the Obuasi municipality how to deal with such sudden spikes. We will continue to learn, review, and adjust where and when we need to do so. We will only proceed with this staggered opening up of our country when it is safe to do so. Fellow Ghanaians, now more than ever, we must adhere to enhance personal hygiene and social distancing protocols. Wash our hands with soap under running water. refrain from shaking hands, and will wear our masks whenever we leave our homes. In the Ghanaian context, it has been established that the cases of comorbidity, i.e. underlying health conditions, that are associated with almost all the COVID-related deaths are mainly diabetes and hypertension. The risk factors for these diseases are being overweight, protocols, and directions. I entreat all religious, traditional, community and opinion leaders to continue to partner with government in engaging, mobilizing, and enforcing adherence to social distancing and personal hygiene practices in their respective communities. Fellow Ghanaians, as I stated in my fifth address to the nation, we will protect people's lives, then their livelihoods. It is this principle that guided the decision to impose restrictions and continues to guide me today. The fact of the matter is that the measures we have taken appear, by the grace of God, to be working. Our healthcare system is so far not overwhelmed, and you, the Ghanaian people, have largely embraced the principles of social distancing, the wearing of masks, and the enhanced hygiene protocols, which are our most effective defenses against the virus. We've learned many lessons from this pandemic. The most obvious is that we have to fortify urgently our public health system. We have committed to the implementation of Agenda 88, that is building, within a year, a fully equipped, functional district hospital for each district that does not have one, and a fully equipped, functional regional hospital for each of the new regions, together with a new regional hospital for the Western region and the rehabilitation of a Fiakwanta hospital in Second-D. We have to empower and increase the number of our healthcare professionals across board. Universal health coverage must become reality for all Ghanaians. After we have defeated this virus. Enuanom, emre kakrani, yadeɛ ye ama yɛde nhwɛsoɔ bebree aba yɛ abrabom, ɛde ahokyerɛ abrɛ yɛ nyinaa. Nanso, yame adaroma, nhyehyɛeɛ a yɛde egu kwan mu, ɛyɛ adwuma. Ɛno nti, yɛdu mmerɛ a ɛsɛ sɛ yɛgu nhyehyɛeɛ ne mmara no mu kakra. Enye bibia prekope. Ifre na eko. Nipa kakra betumi akọ asọre ene masalachi. Yamba schoolfo a woro bewie GHS, SHS ni university. Betumi asan akọ school, akọwie won sohwe. Yɛyɛ ntotoyɛ ne hyehyɛ pa a ɛbɛbɔ teacherfoɔ ne yɛn mma ne ho ban. Mesrɛ mo, biribiara mu, ɛsɛ sɛ yɛkɔ so di seminar ne nsuo ɛhohoro yɛn nsa. Yɛmfa sanitizer mpepa yɛn nsa. Yɛnhyɛ mask. Yɛpue kɔ nnipa mu a, yɛmma nkwan ndeda yɛn ntam. Yɛndidi yɛn ho ni. Na yɛndi yɛn aduane titiriw. Mesrɛ mo, asɛm a meke, mongye ntom na montaa m'akyi. Na mommoa me, na me nso mentumi mmoa mo. Yɛayerɛ yi abɔ yɛn nyinaa fam. Nti yɛn nyinaa mbom, yɛnsɔre mpagya yɛn ne yɛn man Ghana. Ɛyɛ me mɛ, besane wɔte hefi mu fio. Ne hani bi mewa ɛha wɔ fɛn. Chinyɔmɔdromo na ɛka hefi mu na ne etuni no ɛwɔ mimba magbɔdɔ mi fio. Agbene me fio banye amebon somo ke maslachi ya. Wobi ni yo JHS, SHS, ke university ni ameba gbena, me banya ameya ni ameya gbena. Mi tok bejiano. Koni school bi ke ame ni choloe ni sane ko akaba. Isani waha be aka wote. Ni wa forwarding. Ni wa kwa sanitizer afe wode. Ni wa wo mask. Ni wa kwa wahe ojogba. Ni wa ye woma ni eni. Ni panye fai. Sane min yone. Nye hia, nye ye. Ni nye ba finse. Nye wa mini mihuma nye ma wanye. Ela ne, wo fe wo gbeshi. No. Nyawa fe wo fe kome ni wo hino ke wo ma Ghana. Fellow Ghanaians, ultimately the battle is the Lord's, and with faith in him we will emerge from this greater than before. We are one people. We are Ghanaians, and we stand together in joy and in times of trouble. We are a people with an exceptional history, and we are the proud promoters of the Black Star of Africa. We've all gone down together. We should all rise together. This too shall pass. May God bless us all and our homeland Ghana and make her great and strong. I thank you for your attention and have a good night.
City TV is live on DSTV.